So everybody, this is Amy from Shadowhunters UK, who I've been watching. I did actually watch Amy a couple of years back on Facebook, but because I started watching everybody on YouTube, I kind of forgot about Amy and her team. But through Haunted Finders, I have now rediscovered her, and I must say she's done amazing in the last few years. And I don't know where you get your courage.
I don't.
Goodness, Carol. I watch you sometimes and I think she's going to run. She is going to run. And then you don't, and I think, go on, Amy. Go on.
It's hard.
It is hard, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
it is definitely.
Courage.
I don't know. I do bottle it sometimes. You know, I'll tell you how I end up effing and blinding. That's when you know when my bottle's gone. Right. Swear words come out. I used to run. I think the more you do it, the more you get used to it.
That's how I admire you so much, because I think I remember you did. I think you were a bit screamy as well, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And now when I watch, it's like, wow, because you can see it in your face. You see that fear, and then you see the, no, I'm not running. And I love it.
Yeah, you can't run. It's dead difficult because obviously you do jump. You are very jumpy, and you do want to run, and your reactions that you see, they are real.
No,
and you get people saying, "Oh, what you feeling like that for?" Yeah. You get people saying it, and it's like, no, you got to do it.
I would just like to shout out Moxley Paranormal, who is in chat, guys. Please also check out Moxley, who I'm hoping takes the seat one day. Yeah, but that's why I love you, Amy, so much, because you do see it in your face, and it shows that you're real, because there is so many teams out there fake things, but you know that you guys are real because you show the emotion of it, and you can tell that you know when spirit is around you, and the connections makes good. I mean, I watched you with the haunted swing, for example. You were everybody was amazed with this. You have to check out the video, guys. It's one of the first videos on Amy's channel, where the haunted swing, and you were amazed that it moved, and it just made everybody else amazed. I mean, you've seen it.
Yeah, that was amazing.
So how did this start? Let's get to the nitty gritty. How did it start?
How did the Shadowhunters start?
How did you get into paranormal, just as a basic?
How did I get into paranormal? So from being little, I've been fascinated with it. So my nana and granddad had a pub,
right,
and that was haunted. It was just odd, creepy. My mum and dad's house as well. That was weird. My auntie used to live in my mum and dad's house,
right,
and she had an imaginary friend called Jenna, and to this day, she said she wasn't imaginary, Amy. She was in that house.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad, one night, he was in bed, and he woke up, and he thought it was me in the doorway, stood there, and it wasn't. It was a young girl who had a long dress to her knees, and she had like pantaloons underneath, ringleted hair to about here. He said, and she just went. So stuff like that, you used to see things in my mum and dad's house, like shadows and whatnot, and you'd just feel a bit eerie. So from being young, I've been really interested in it. UFOs, been fascinated in UFOs.
Well, anything bonkers is your
anything paranormal, supernatural. I've just been really intrigued by it.
Yeah.
So and then other experiences that I've had and what I've seen, and so that was it. Then I had to
just explore it. I mean, I started off with just loving all the shows and different things like that, and then I slowly realised that people could do this, and then I started researching how to do it and things, and I bought the usual spirit box and the K2 meter, and it didn't work, and I was like, So I started to I mean, some people have got a natural gift and connect to spirit straight away. I mean, that's just the way. But to me, it didn't come natural like that at all. I tried everything. That's how I got into the witchcraft as well. I researched how to do it, how to lower your vibration to connect, and how to raise your vibration when you want to get them away, different things like that. So I love hearing everybody's story, how they actually got started. And then my son-in-law died, and I was left with my daughter and my grandson. Like, what do I do? And then through trying to help support my daughter, I started turning spirit boxes on more often, wanting to speak to Billy. That's her partner, and it just came like that, really, for me. But I love hearing how everybody get into it. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So did you form your own team at that point?
So no, what happened was, my other half, his mum's best friend, she was part of a paranormal group.
Right.
So that was it. I started going with her. She was called Carol Webber. She's passed away now, bless her. She was as bad as me. I think she made me worse, if anything, made me more into it. So I started going with her, and then we used to do weekends away, just girly weekends, but we'd go and stay places which were haunted. And that's what we do. Our girly weekends weren't like on the beer or anything. Our girly weekends were going staying in haunted places and investigating. So
that'd be great. Something like that. Mm-hmm.
It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we did that, and then eventually, I think it was lockdown, just when COVID hit, just before COVID hit, actually, the summer before it were, we got into it and set up a team, and the rest is history.
Yeah, because I noticed when I was watching your video, if it was one of you, I was actually just having a quick refresher before I started speaking to you tonight. And I noticed there was about 6 in that video. So is your team just the 3 now, use girls?
It's just me and Louise now.
Right.
Yeah, Louise is my niece.
Right, okay.
So me and her are like thick as thieves.
It's always good when you get somebody you can go out with, isn't it? I mean, I noticed you do a lot with Moxley as well, who's brilliant at school. That's good if you can get teams together that can. I mean, some of these locations run quite expensive as well, so it's quite. Yeah. So, where's your favourite place that you've been so far?
Oh God, that's such a hard question. Oh, it's a really hard question. That because I've got so many. My favourite place. Oh, probably what I absolutely. There's a place. There's a schoolhouse.
Right.
And this schoolhouse is abandoned, and it's one of them places where you go, no matter how many times you go, something happens.
Right.
And it's really intriguing. I do love that place.
So do you feel that's cool? That'd be a spirit there to pull to or something.
Yeah, it does really, really interest me, that place. I also love the screaming house that we've just done. That's something there is quite sinister.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that place draws you back.
Yeah. So, is there anywhere that's really scared you really bad, except for East Drive? I mean, I'll talk about that in a minute. That's a whole different East Drive.
The Screaming House, the one that's the older place where everyone's literally near enough in tears because something happened there, which
you're going to put the video out, aren't you? So you don't really.
I've already put it out. That one, that's already on. Yeah. I told Moxley, I told the ones that we go out with, I told them what happened. So a few days before we went there, I had a night terror, and I've not had them for years. No sleep paralysis. And I was in my bed, and I was facing the other half, and I could see him, and I knew somebody was coming behind me, and they did that up my back with the fingers, and I was trying to scream, and I couldn't scream. Eventually screamed, like shouted no, and then come around. So that was that. It scared me because I've now gone for years. Went to the Screaming House, and I think within about 10 minutes of us being in there, something touched me back. But it did the same motion up my back, and that's what really threw me, because I thought it was exactly the same feeling as what I had when I had my night terror. So that really threw me, and I was shaking. I stopped recording because it really, really scared me.
I mean, even that schoolhouse you went to that long ago with Tom and David, Haunted Finders, I mean, that was really interesting as well. When you were doing in that, I think it was like a jacket room or like a cloakroom or something, you were in the bottom floor where all the kids were. I mean, that place amazed me. The communication you were getting in there is actually one of the top-notch communications. What was it like there? What was that feeling?
It's I really like it there.
Right.
I really, really. That's probably one of my favourite places.
Right.
It's it's weird because in the kitchen area, it tends to be that's like the focal point where everything happens.
Right.
And it builds, and all of a sudden it just kicks off.
Right.
And it's a fascinating place, but you can hear children in there. You can hear what you. I think I can't tell you how many people that have investigated that place. They will tell you the same thing. You can hear children.
We definitely heard the children. And they
And
didn't want you to go. Didn't they?
No.
I mean, you must have felt so bad having to leave them. I mean, I would have been in tears because they clearly were saying things like stay, and you're like, oh, and every time like, Tom and that especially went to go out the room, they were just like making the K2 meter go off as if don't go, and it would break my heart.
I think there's something in there that blocks the children. If
Keeps
that makes sense. There's something that's not nice in there because we
was
went
that
there.
The top floor? There was something on the top floor that wasn't so nice in that place, wasn't there?
You have the top floor and the kitchen. In that kitchen area, Louise has seen it. She saw.
Hi, Louise.
Hello, Louise. Louise saw like a dark shadow, quite big, in the doorway.
Right.
We also got told to shh as well. We was all there in clear as day. You just heard something go shh, and that just went. We all just went, what? As if like a schoolmaster type of man telling us all to be quiet.
Because it looked, even with the videos, it looked as if it was sectioned off, like kids in the bottom, they're not too bad there, and then the bad.
Yeah.
It looked as if it was just, and I bet you as investigators felt that shift every layer you went.
Yeah, you can feel it. You can feel a change in it. It's just a really odd place. It's just dead intriguing. Yeah. We've had knocking on the door as well, like banging, because we actually thought somebody had come to tell us to get out because obviously it's abandoned. And it was bang, bang, bang on the door.
Me when you were doing that video, and I was just sitting on my earphones or watches, and then you actually it's one of the ones you do it. You Dobie's in. Hi, welcome, Dobie sis. It was one of the places that you just actually, as somebody sitting at home, you could actually feel the energy, you know.
Yeah.
So what's the craziest thing you've ever seen then?
Craziest thing you've ever seen?
Well, you feel like, that couldn't have happened, like that type of thing.
Oh, I tell you what did absolutely amaze me. We went to the Park Hotel in Morecambe. Me and Louise were upstairs in a TikTok live, and I bought some bells and I stuck them on the wall with gorilla tape outside because it was built in like the Victorian era. So obviously they would have had, it was quite posh as well. So they would have bells like to ring for servants, and so we put the bells up, and we was calling out, and next thing you heard the footsteps like doof 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 doof, and then the bell went, and we was just like. The bell went, it went twice. But as if someone knocks the bell, it went twice. You're like, no, that didn't happen. Yeah.
You just can't get away with things like that, though. See, when you can't explain it and there's no other explanation, how can people doubt it?
I don't know.
Like a skeptic. My dad just will not entertain it. So I've put this wee thing in me where I'm out to prove it. And that's just
oh, yes.
I think that's your family feel about you doing it. Is your husband and things and your partner dead supportive and things?
Yeah, he's dead. He's interested. I'm terrible when I come home. I tell him everything.
Want to talk about it?
He's like, where have you been? What have you done? And he's really supportive. And that's good.
That's good.
I'm always out. You see, I'm always out, and he's like, oh yeah. He knows why I do it. I do this because number one, I love doing it. It fascinates me. Number two, when I'm out, and Louise will be the same, and you know the other people as well will probably feel the same thing. You're out and you're exploring these places. It's amazing, and if you clear your mind, forget about what's going on in the world, and you go and see these places, which not many people will see, and we get to investigate them, film them, and put it out there, and it's experience it. It's a good hobby. It's a great thing.
I love it. I can't wait to go further afield and come down. That's why I like to talk to you guys. That I know you are in places where I will eventually go to. Is there anywhere that you've not investigated yet that you want to go?
Oh, I'd love to do Newsham Park in Liverpool.
Right.
I'd love to do there. Let me think. I would absolutely love to go to America. I would love to go to America, and my number one, I'd say, would be Bobby Master.
I just need to prepare for that, though, wouldn't you? That's one of the places that you would really have to ground yourself, have straight like barriers up there.
Yeah, I've got a big grin on my face now because I love places like that.
Me too. Have you walked up to a castle yet? Have you been to a castle yet?
Me and Louise went to I can't even remember what it's called. We went with Ghost on Trent,
right?
And it was brilliant. It was amazing.
Some castles you get that because see if you think back to a lot of people would be going to their doom walking up to the castle. Yeah. So sometimes when you're walking up these places, especially when it's dark, you feel that energy and you feel like running. One night I did that. And it was a good job I was live walking up to the place, or I would have run. I would have turned and went back because I just felt as if I was walking to my doom. I'm thinking, good job. I'm like, hello everybody, and I was just continuing to talk to people in the chat. It was when I was going to Craignatham Castle, and I was just walking up, and I'm thinking, oh, this is intense. And it wasn't until I thought about it the next day, I thought that's because think of the people that's walked up that road. To their doom, knowing that they're going to get hung, drawn, and quartered. Exactly. You know?
Can you imagine the energy that must be there? It must be insane. The energy
Edinburgh's crazy. Oh, Edinburgh Castle has got a crazy energy. You really have to visit it, honestly.
I'd love to go. Scotland. I'd love to go to Scotland. I would love to go to Scotland.
What other questions have we got here for you, Mrs.? So what's your favourite tools? What do you like to use?
Oh, well, I'd say I always have my K2 meter. I always have my K2 meter. To be honest with you,
I noticed that you use the dowsing rods and things. A lot of the older place, you've like saw the older equipment, like the dowsing rods and things.
Oh, Louise, mine has to be the dowsing rod. Yeah, dowsing rods. She gets some really good activity with dowsing rods. Right. I think she's more sensitive than what she thinks Louise is.
You should have come up, Louise. Do you want to come up?
Louise, you want to come on?
Do you want to
get your laptop on? Put your hair up.
You could send her. I think you can send her a link as well. Do you like to add me on Facebook? And then we'll get her up. In fact, I think I can put it in chat. Let's see. Clipboard. Let's see if we can get you up here. There we go. Just grab that link, Louise, and pop up.
Let me put my laptop on. Hang on, guys. I'm just fiddling about with bills. Yeah, she's coming. She'll join.
Come up and have a chit chat.
Louise is more sensitive than what she thinks. I think if she actually worked on it, opening herself up, I think she'd be very surprised. I think she'd be very surprised.
Have you got any medium about anything?
I think I can sense things. Right. I know when it's just I always get a feeling in between when my ribs are. Right. There, really like a heavy feeling and a gut feeling, and I can't explain that feeling when I go in somewhere. I can know when something's going to happen. Right. You can just feel it. But I hear, and I hear it more and more now. I hear talking.
Right.
So and it's as if it sounds as if.
I had the more and more we get into it, that they're actually opening up to it. And that's probably why a lot of people like me that don't have gifts and things when we go to these places, because I do feel as if every place I go, I do open up more. I mean, I've got a knack of hearing every single word in the necrophonic. I just don't know. I've got a connection to the necrophonic app. I just can hear every word in it. And I did never used to do that before, so it definitely opens you up more. So do you think you're sensitive then to the energies?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. I do think.
Or is it people in general you get a feel for? Maybe that's what you feel, because a lot of people are sensitive to people around them as well. So
yeah, I'm very good. I'm very good at reading people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You feel that though, don't you? That if you're good at reading people, you connect to spirit a lot.
I'm very good at reading people.
But if you think about it, right, would you talk to anybody you didn't like?
No.
So why would you talk to somebody when you're deceased, just minding your own business in these places? Why would you speak to them if you wouldn't speak to them in life? Yeah. So the more nicer you are to the spirits and things, the more they connect to you. So spirits know if you're a good person or not, and if you're there for a sinister reason or anything. So
we've said before, when we go out, it's as if the more you do it, they know that you're there to do that, so they will come forward more. But the talking, it sounds as if, do you know when you can hear the house next door and they've got a radio on, or you can hear like conversations, but it's next door to you, like muffled.
Yeah,
that's what I hear.
Right. So you're definitely hearing spirit then, I'd say.
Yeah, it's weird. And I've got really good ears. I've got a really good hearing. You'll notice on the videos, I'll be like, "Do you hear that? What was that? Do you hear that?" And then when I review it back, there is something there.
Yeah, there's definitely. I definitely think that spirit know who the good. I mean, look at Tom and Dave, for example. Spirits always talk to them, and people say, "Why do they talk to you?" And they don't. That's because people, the nicer you are to spirits, and the nicer a person you are in life, the spirits just know. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think I
do believe that. I do believe it's how you are, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
If you go in and you completely block it and why go on an investigation? You don't go on an investigation obviously you go there to prove there is something there. Right. You have to debunk stuff. You have to, because obviously not everything is paranormal. But you do have to be open-minded and say, you can't just say something may happen, and you can't just say, but it might not be paranormal. You can't flirt it off. If something does happen, go with it and see, because it may be.
Exactly.
So I think if you go in with a bit of a wall up, you won't get much.
I think if you go in with a skeptical, when you go in and you're not going to take every wee bump and every wee noise and creak, you're not going to say, "Oh, that spirit." When you go in with a skeptical eye and debunk like the way you guys do it. I mean, that fridge, for example, and the I mean, who would have thought that fridge would start making a banging noise?
That was the oddest thing I've ever experienced. Honestly, I couldn't get my head around. It wasn't even fixed to the wall, because I'm looking behind the wall to see whether any pipes are rattling or.
You even went back and checked. I think there was like a bit had been nailed to the wall or something. You even went back and checked that.
I'm knocking on the wall thinking, is there something behind there? And there wasn't.
I know. I noticed that.
That was really odd. I can't explain that.
Do you think spirits do that just to noise us up? Like, right, I'm going to annoy you and bang on the silliest wee thing and just come he's crazy.
Well, you know what, right? I found out that place, obviously, it used to be, it was a house originally.
Right.
So where the kitchen was, that was like where the servants would have been in that area. And then if you went through the room next to it, where we was originally stood, when it was a boarding school, the kids that were naughty were made to stand in there. So you can imagine there would have been a lot of children in there and stuff. So it's like, is it something mischievous, or is it something for them to get out?
I mean, even if it was residual, it could have been like them kicking on the wall or something to just get
it just couldn't explain it. It was just a bloody odd experience. It was to the point where like I've got no word to this.
There's actually a few places I've noticed, and I think it's changed in the last couple of years, where spirits have been more open to communicating. I mean, if you go back a lot of videos for way back in 2005 or something, people were struggling to get a noise out of a spirit box or a EVP or a K2 to light up. Now, some places you go, you can't keep up with the spirits, the bangs, the bulbs, and different things. So I think that spirits are probably communicating behind the scenes and wanting to talk, realising that they can get their story out in some of these locations, you know. I mean, I do feel for spirits sometimes, especially those places you go to with the classroom and that. That's a shame, you know. These kids are stuck.
Yeah.
Do you protect yourselves with crystals or prayer?
I do. I've not got it on. I've had a shower. I haven't emptied my crystal though.
I just wear my pentagram and things, but I think you definitely need to protect yourself. Do you advise people to protect themselves? Yeah, I do as well.
Yeah, I agree, because some of the things that we've experienced, and what's especially Louise, some of the things that's happened to her. I mean, she had
questions in a second, guys. Okay.
She had a panic attack, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen. I didn't think we were going to get her out. So yeah, some of the things that have happened have just been a bit like, oh, that's not good. So yeah, you do need to protect yourself. You do, as much as you want something to, proper kick off.
That feeling though, I mean, they trying to explain that to people though, I've noticed that you've conquered it, because you don't run now. It's the getting used to that energy and knowing that it's just spirit. Don't run, it's only the spirits. This is what you came here for, type of thing. You've got to tell yourself, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because it does feel like a panic attack's coming on you. Do you know what I mean?
You do. It's just strange. The last when we went to the screaming house, the first time we went was with Ghost on Trent. And at first, when you went in, it was like, oh, it's a bit weird in here. And in that place, it gets you to drop your guard.
Right.
The way it is. And then it happens, and it's like, it's not nice, it's nasty. It's something very strange in that place, but I had to go back. And then went back the second time with Mox, and I knew what it was like. So my guard was right up when I went in. And I was literally, as soon as we went in, it all just kicked off straight away. And it wasn't nice. And I said to Mox at one point, because he stopped recording, he went, it's awful, this place, Amy. I said, I told you, it's horrible. And then we're talking out, we're calling out. And Mox says, the man's here, isn't he? And I went, yeah, he is, because my bum was being touched. And the atmosphere just completely changed. You could feel it. It was all the way I could explain it. I said it was like a crushing feeling, like everything was being crushed in there. It was horrible. So we went.
No, I don't blame you. Some places you just have to, I would imagine, just go, because I mean, you've got to face it. There is things out there want to harm us. There isn't just twisted souls or anything like that. I mean, there is demons and things. For all they are rare, and most of the time the bad energy is twisted humans. When people die, if they're a twisted human in life, most of the time they're a twisted human when they die. And it's just
simple. Totally agree with you.
And people mistake that energy for being demonic.
Exactly that. You've just hit the nail on the head.
They do. And see, I think there's a difference between a ghost hunter and a paranormal investigator. I think a ghost hunter is just somebody that goes out and turns a spirit box on and goes for their daily kick, you know. But paranormal investigators like you and I like to go to places and get into why the spirits are here. Why they stuck? Are they stuck? You know, and let them get their story out in a lot of these locations. You know, have you connected to any of the spirits that you've actually did a lot of the places, or do you feel you've made a connection to any of them?
I think the only place where, talking to about this before, when we went to the Park Hotel, and I had a bit of a weird experience.
Lou's here.
Is she in?
Yes, she's coming.
Where is she?
Click her button. Oh, they just nearly moved her again. Clicked it twice.
Oh, Louise!
Welcome. Look, they're human this way.
Louise! guys, what's playing?
Oh, I think you need to put YouTube off.
Turn YouTube off.
Oh. Am I here? Have I done it
Yes,
right?
Welcome. We are.
It only took me 20 minutes.
Could you not get in?
I couldn't even turn the laptop on. It's just a daily struggle, to be honest.
Well, there you go. You're here now. So what do you want to add to our beautiful Amy's story so far, Louise? Anything you want to add? How you got into this with your crazy aunt? I think it was, you said, your aunt?
Me what?
Yeah.
Wow,
Me what, sorry?
How did you get into this crazy occupation? Let's see.
I think when Amy was doing it, obviously I was too young at the time when she was saying about Carol Webby and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Obviously I was too young and my mum had never let me watch the videos, but I was like a really weird child. Like I know everybody else like the imaginary friends and stuff, but I used to feel like I heard stuff and I used to think, and I used to really play into it. I didn't really go out and have many friends and stuff like that. And I used to play this game with my cousin and it was probably dead silly, but we used to get a penny and I used to try and communicate by like, you know, like a yes or a no through like a penny and stuff like that. And I used to feel, and I used to lie in bed and I'd hear things like I'd be in bed and I could hear as if somebody was downstairs in my mum's house, like messing with pots and pans, smashing a glass. And I jumped out of bed once and I ran into my mum and my stepdad's room screaming because I thought somebody had broken in. And they went downstairs and nobody was there. But I could hear, like, at that time, I didn't really understand. But the more I've done these courses and like Amy's, you know, talk to me about like residual hauntings and stuff like that, I feel like I used to experience things like that.
Right.
So then obviously when I did start going just for the weekends away and stuff like that, but then it was more interested in, instead of having the drinks and the dancing and stuff like that, like I was just dead interested in, I was quite skeptical, which instead of just thinking everything was paranormal, I'd question and be like, why, how, like what? And then obviously me and Amy started, like the team, didn't we, with down those other people, and then we started going out doing explores and getting into it. And then Amy's done a few courses, then we met Moxley, who's just absolutely like fantastic. And obviously I learned a lot from him. And then obviously we've just been going out and doing, and I've just experienced some things that the videos do it just sometimes, and I just enjoy.
So where's your most scariest thing you've happened?
The most scariest thing, I can't remember where it was and what it was called, but we went with Ghost on Trent, and I think we went early in the morning.
It was the place where the guy was attacked. And
so
the castle.
Yeah, so we went to the castle and we went in first, didn't we? Me, you and Moxley, because Ghost on Trent had already been. And as soon as I didn't know anything about it because I don't go deep into any histories and stuff like that, because then I know that I'd place it in my mind and everything would be like, oh, it's you know, I'd rather have a closed mind and then read it afterwards so I can put it all together. So I didn't have a clue about this place, what had happened. Amy doesn't tell me because she likes to see what we all pick up on. And as we was walking round, I just had this heightened anxiety, and I hear like it sounds dead insane, but like voices in my head. So I wanted to come out with things when we was doing like a little walk around, but I wasn't voicing it. I felt a bit daft and thought I need to keep it in. And then I kept it in that much that it was quite hard to remember actually, because I just remember being sat on the floor and really opening myself up, and I just got, it was like this wave of feelings just dived on me, and I just had this huge breakdown. And
you've opened yourself up, you've let it come in.
It was the first time that I've ever like opened myself up and not
been able to control it. I think she's stuck.
Just
refresh, Louise. Just refresh. Some of the people pausing the silliest.
I've got to take a picture of her. Wait a minute. Let me just take a picture of her.
I think she's back.
Never gone.
Yeah, you're back.
I don't know what happened there. I went a bit funny then, didn't I?
Yeah, you just a second. So
yeah, and then obviously Amy and Moxley like got me out, but as I was going down the stairs and I was coming round, we was just going out for a bit of fresh air, and obviously Moxley was behind me, and I think it had scared him quite a bit. So as we was walking through the doorway, he tapped me on the shoulder, and I turned around, and he went, "Come here," because it scared him, and he went to put his arm around me to cuddle him. So I turned around and I put my arm around him, and I've seen things in the corner of my eyes and shadows, but straight on in front of me, I seen this gentleman. It was just like a black figure of a man with his white hair, like this oldish man, dead blatant face, just didn't look impressed. And I seen him stood about 5 centimeters behind Moxley, and I can't even explain the feeling because I've seen it dead on, and I literally it frightened me to death that I don't know how fast I got from there to out the window and just fell in a puddle on the floor outside. And I think that's the worst. It was an insane experience. It was amazing, but
definitely.
I think after that, and obviously a debriefing, because we always have like a debrief and a chat afterwards. I kind of needed to learn to control it a bit more, you know, instead of, because I think I'd opened myself up and I didn't know how to deal with it.
Tell you what I found really interesting when that happened though, when you was upstairs, because we stopped filming because obviously she was in a mess. Right. She was heartbroken, crying. But as she's crying, she's like, the vase, like panicking about, and kept saying the vase. And we're like, what? So we got her out. Anyway, when we looked back into what happened, it was this man lived in this house, and these guys basically broke in. Oh, he was driving up onto his drive. They held him hostage. They battered him, and he had loads of antiques. Very, very. I mean, the antiques in his house were worth a fortune. He didn't have any pensions. That was his money, his antiques. And he was beat around the head with a glass. So when she was shouting the vase and panicking, and when you look into all the stuff that was featured, it was insane. It's like, oh my god!
And we're surprised it didn't put you off, Louise. Honestly,
it did petrify me. It did, but like I say, I enrolled onto a paranormal course and then started, you know, obviously chatting to Aimee and Moxley, and they're obviously great support as well. So it was more of a me trying to learn about myself instead of keeping myself closed up and exploding and not knowing how to deal with what I'm feeling and what I'm going through.
More curious. A lot of things like that happen makes you want answers. I mean, a lot of people like me, I'm no person to sit down and let something totally annoy me. So I would be like, well, I want to understand what happened there. Did you have a little bit of that? But you want to understand what actually went wrong, so that you know how to conquer it next time.
That's exactly what it was, because I like I was saying to Aimee and Moxley, like I kept apologizing, but it's like I didn't feel it coming on. I was kind of a mess and a mush when it happened. And throughout the rest of the investigation, because I went back in, but I don't even think I spoke at all.
No, you was literally mute. You didn't say a thing. You was so quiet, and you looked like, I felt really sorry for you because you looked like a little girl. Like that's what you was like. I've never seen anybody in that state before. It was just pure like terror. I've never seen that. And her eyes were like massive, and I was like, what? I'm honest. You had to literally. He got in through a window. To jump on something else, get on down and then jump off. She ran, got on the bottom, and she just dived out that window. Which was like, what? She just literally died.
Yeah, I think
like pure terror.
I think I opened myself up a bit too much without having any kind of.
Stronger? Do you think it made you a stronger investigator? Though, like the next place you went, did you feel as if you were a stronger investigator and you knew how to control it better?
Yeah, I think I kind of, personal stuff was going on as well, but that had scared me. So I kind of didn't go out for a while.
Right.
And then the last time that happened was when we went with Ghost on Trent to the cottage. And instead of keeping it all to myself, I sat there and it was all going through my head. And the same thing, like, I felt like this woman was asking me, like, and I kept asking, like, are you all right? Are you all right? And I was having this conversation in my head.
Right.
And I knew.
What was the channeling then? The channeling the spirit.
Because of the previous experience, I knew to get it out. So I sat and I said to the guys, like, and I said to Aimee, like, I explained what was going through my head, and I explained, and I thought, instead of ignoring it and then just opening up and having this mess, I'm going to follow my thoughts, but I'm aware of what's going on.
Right.
So I took the camera off Aimee. I knew they was downstairs. I went upstairs and followed through with what was going through my head, got it all off my chest, and then come back down, and I felt a lot lighter. Right. So then that kind of, otherwise, I think if I would have just kept it all in and let it fester, and then called out and not informed the guys of what was going on, it could have possibly happened how it did beforehand. So I just went with it, knowing. And, you know, I told the guys as well, so they obviously was watching. Well, so I think it has helped being aware, because Aimee always tells me, like, you are sensitive, and I kind of just block it out and think, no, I don't have a clue, I don't know what's. But then all these thoughts and feelings, Aimee says, like, throw it out there, don't keep it into yourself.
Yeah.
And
I always say, if you have something in your head, say it. If you whatever you hear, say it. As daft as it may sound, it may be relevant. It may be relevant.
Yeah,
I mean, that's obviously chosen you to get its story out. I mean, I think it's an honour when spirit chooses you to speak the story. I really do. And then, I think if you can hear them, please.
There was a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions and a lot of anger, a lot of hurt, a lot of, you know, so I think that must have all just came through myself maybe at that point. But obviously, I mean, I might have been able to deal with it different by staying, but I needed to get out. Like, there is certain points with all
you definitely need to get out.
If we feel it's a bit too much, then we step out, because obviously
your guides will always tell you. I mean, the voices that you hear in your head that you've always heard before you were a wee kid, that is your guide's voice. Always listen to that voice, because a lot of people think it's your subconscious or whatever, but it's actually your guides. You recognise that voice, and always I mean, Aimee, you've got that feeling where you say, right, I'm not running. That is your guides taking over you and telling you you're not running. Whereas in your situation, Louise, it's the opposite. It's your guides telling you to run, you know. And that is trying to recognise that voice. And you're great at it, honestly. I love the way that you connect to these spirits, and not a lot of people can do it. There's honestly very, very few that can walk into a place and actually get a communication with a couple of spirits where you're getting their name, you're getting their age, maybe even getting another family member's name. That is a very, very rare skill that some of these investigators can do. I mean, I've watched a lot of research, as I've just told Aimee, and some of the people don't realise that it takes a lot to actually get that connection. And the fact that you keep going time after time builds up that reputation with these spirits. And it's an amazing journey, honestly.
I do think
that favourite place, Louise. Sorry, Aimee, what you saying?
No, I was just saying, I agree with you there. I do think, like you say, the more you do it, the more they know that you do what you're there to do.
Do you feel as if spirits know the difference of good people and bad people, Louise? Like, they know when you care. They know when you actually care as a person.
Yeah, I definitely do, because it's like when we go, like, and even with Aimee and Moxley, and this is why I absolutely love going out with them, like the recording and everything, like, even though that's what we're doing, that's kind of like out of mind, like we're there, and like the recording and for the YouTube channel is just like an extra bonus. But us being there is like, that's not our focus. Our focus isn't, let's catch it all on camera and put it on YouTube. Our focus is to experience and go for that. And I think myself, Moxley and Aimee are that, you know, emotionally attached and caring that, you know, we've been into like a care home, and we've been to places before where like me and Amy have called out and Mox has called out, and you know, we've gone with different approaches, and I think like soft and respectful. And that care home that we went, I can't remember which one it was, Amy, but we got some amazing responses there, and it was so comforting
place. It didn't feel scary, but you felt it was comforting. And I
bet the spirits loved you being there. I mean, if that was a care home, there was probably 3 or 4 old men and women just walking around lost, and then you just go in and talk to them.
It was, it was beautiful. That place, and I'm scared of the dark. I'm scared of my own shadow. But I said to Amy, like, I could have been there all night. And I think Amy can be quite assertive and abrupt, and you know, not bossy, but you're a very, very strong person.
Curious,
So that's really comforting and assuring. And obviously, I work in like the caring industry, and like I'm so emotionally attached to everybody around me. Like I'm too soft sometimes. But then I think it's also like a benefit. So I feel like, you know, quite attached and comforted to as well. So
have you got a favourite place that you've been to so far?
Let me think about this one.
It's a hard question, isn't it, Liv?
Yeah, I think, do you know, I don't know, like obviously the most scariest place where I nearly had heart failure was obviously that place. But there's been a lot of, everywhere is so different. There's such a different vibe, and I mean, I love going to the places which is like walking into a time capsule with like, even if we go into those places and you know, a lot of the time we can be there for hours and hours. Like I know some, like we put on a 40-minute video, but actually within that time we've been out for, like Amy's been out from night till got home early hours in the morning, and you know, I like the places that you go, and it's literally as if somebody is just, you know, it's all just there. Like I love it's amazing. Which I mean, sometimes it does upset me, and I do feel the upset when I walk into these places and things have been messed with, like writing and stickers on the wall, like smashed things. People have taken things. It's just it's just disgusting. But there has been places that we've gone in, and it's still been it feels so homely. You just feel like you're entering somebody's, you know, and they're still there.
But I know. And you go, and then you look at a newspaper or something, and it's a way back to 1974 or something.
Yes, well, there's been places where we've walked in and letters have been there still, and notepads and pictures, and it's like, wow, like they've just wrote it yesterday, and it's dated from like the 70s. I'm like,
it's like, do you know the Ivy House? I mean, obviously it's trash now. It's the Ivy House, but that place is actual written music notes on music paper, music notes that have been handwritten, and it's that I remember the first time I walked in there. It's probably one of the first proper investigations abandoned places that I'd done. You walked in, you're like, oh my gosh, I could live in this. I could do this house up. It's when you see like the old Aga cookers and stuff like that. I think with that as well, I love history. I'm a proper history geek. I love it.
Yeah.
I think it goes hand in hand with paranormal.
You can't have paranormal without history. You can't have history without paranormal. It's just the way it is. I just don't understand these people that don't get it, honestly. I don't.
Oh, it's amazing.
This is why we have such good like vibe off each other, because we're going somewhere, and I think I ask Amy 50 times, where are we going, what time we're going, where we're going, and she's like, I've sent it you. But then I always think to myself, I'll do a bit of research, and I go to work and I mess about and I don't, and then I say, yeah, I've had a look. I've looked at pictures. But then Amy knows without failure every single time that I don't have a clue what this place is, what's happened. But then that's good, because when we go and I'm saying things and experiencing things, and Amy's like, yeah, but did you know that this happened, and did you know that happened? So it's kind of like we're not going all clued up saying, you know, ooh, and then people, it's nice to, because then Amy knows, And she's like, carry on. And it's
I tell you what was the most amazing. Sorry for interrupting, but I've just remembered when we went to St. Joseph's Orphanage.
Right.
So we went there and we're in this room. We're doing the S-test method. So she's got the headphones on, spirit box going. We're calling out, asking questions and stuff. And she's whatever comes through the spirit box, she speaks. Anyway, this particular room, Mox will know. It's where the morgue slab is, but it wasn't the morgue. It was the old prayer room, which I found out later on off Moxley. So we're filming her, and we hear clear as day. I think I might say it's wrong. I'm sorry if I do say it wrong, but it's salam alaikum, which is a Muslim Arabic.
Mm-hmm. I've heard
say hello and how are you? Clear as day. And me and Rob look at each other and went, that wasn't her. And it was like, what? Where did that just come from? I've got it on video, and it's clear as day. You can hear it. So I dug into the research. I dug into the research of the place, and it was a hospital for wounded soldiers in the First World War. Now, we had thousands and thousands of Muslim soldiers actually fought for the British in the First World War.
I bet that's no well known.
So that connection from her, that voice saying Salam Alaikum in the prayer room of an old orphanage, which was then turned into a hospital for wounded soldiers in World War I. I was like, oh my God.
I didn't even have a clue until I watched the video, did I? I mean, that sometimes gets me, like, when we watch...
It was unbelievable.
That's what keeps you going, though, isn't it? That's what keeps you wanting more, is all these little
amazing.
And I've never... I couldn't, honestly, I was like, I can't... Me and Rob were gobsmacked, and I was like, why did she just say... We were like, that wasn't her. But what amazed me, though, was the fact that it was when I found out, when Mox said it was that what used to be the prayer room. Now, if you think, if there was any wounded soldiers in there, which obviously were Muslim or anything, you would have gone there.
Yeah.
So for that sentence to come out, it's fantastic.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Is there anything that sticks in your mind, Louise, for anything that you've ever really had where you've really like, no, I can't ever do that again? Do you know what I mean? Like, we went into somewhere like, and you've just went, no, I can't ever experience that again. Like, it's been a no. Like, just
I think when we went to the Park Hotel and we went into the cellar, Aimee took quite a funny turn, but she didn't realise that her behaviour was just horrendous. It was, I couldn't, Mox will vouch for me. I think, I can't remember if there was me, Moxley, Ming and Aimee in the cellar and we was doing an invest, and I seen it in her eyes just kind of glazed over, and she's laughing, like her behaviour, she even turned quite nasty, and we sat at the table and we're giving each other the look as if to say, because she had no idea, and I was actually petrified of looking at her. Like, I didn't look at her in the eyes, and we didn't do anything out of the normal. Like, we was just calling out as normal, but as soon as that started, like, even though it was, oh my God, it's so interesting, how is this? There was no way I was we was putting her and us through it, so we got her out. Like, she didn't want to go, she wanted to stay. She was laughing, the things that she was saying, the way she was looking, and I could feel her glaring at me, and all that I felt was that I actually was really scared of her. I wouldn't look at her in the eyes. There was no way I was looking at her, because I literally thought if I connect with her, I felt like she was going to dive on me and really hurt me. Like, I was scared. So obviously, luckily, Moxley as well said, like, come on, like, we're going. Didn't tell her what was going on, but we went upstairs, and obviously when we'd got upstairs, and I didn't talk to her for a little bit, not because I'd fill out with her, I'll just
giving her a space.
Made me coffee and stuff like that, and then went over, and she's like, "You all right?" So I explained what had happened, and she was looking at her leg, and I had the pictures on my phone because it was quite uncertain if there was like nails that had been dug in or like child's bite marks, like
looked like
really like quite severe on I think it was both of the thighs, but
right at the top of my legs. It was
that was something that I didn't want to go.
Nails or very small teeth on my legs.
So where was that?
In the Park Hotel.
That was in the Park Hotel in Morecambe, wasn't it? That we'd.
But what we did find out was the guy that built the hotel, Edmund Parks, who was called. He was into the occult. He was into what's his name now? Alistair Crowley.
Yeah.
He was into, and he used to hold secret parties there, and he was into like the dark side basically, and he went missing. He went missing, and nobody knew where he were, and they don't know whether there was a rumor to say that he was killed, like sacrificed, basically.
Right. Wow, that's crazy. See, I thought that East Drive. Oh, no, continue about the hotel. I continue about what you were saying about the parking.
Go on, Lynn.
Oh no, yeah, that's just a place, because then we went for time with extra teams. Right. And obviously we went down in the cellar again, and I think this time it was just me and myself and me, Aimee and Moxley, and I think I had a bit of a funny turn down there.
You did.
So I was quite, but then Aimee, well, obviously Moxley was seeing it. Aimee was then quite aggressive.
I was really aggressive towards
swearing at me and not very nice to me. And then
Aimee, could you remember?
No,
you didn't.
I remember her having a funny turn, and I might get her out because she was laughing and laughing and laughing, and next thing the stool went over. There was a stool down there. The stool went, and then she stood up, cackling, laughing, like what? Get her out. But then she said that I was really aggressive, and it weren't until I looked at my footage and I was like, oh my God, I was really aggressive. I was like effing and whining at her. Something very dark in that place.
It was, we was quite feuded, weren't we? Because I was quite the joker, and you was very awful to me, so there was quite a lot of tension.
The two of maybe get took over for a minute.
The stool fell. And Moxley turned around and said, are we going to acknowledge that? And then he went, no. And then got us both out of there. So then I kept saying to her, and she went, I weren't nasty to you at all. I just wanted to get you out of there. And Moxley said, you was really getting your hair off. So it was like so to be honest, I don't think I'd like to go down there again.
No.
That was twice, and it's
you're the same then, Aimee. Just give that place a big.
That place, I'd love to go back to that place, but I think if you went back there, you have to be very careful.
Okay.
Very careful. That's the place where I've had that. When I come back from there, that shadow I see more frequent since I've come back from there, and it's the place where how many times have I told you this woman Louise that I can see her here. It's like in my mind I can see her. I can describe her, what she looks like, and I had a reoccurring dream about her. I told Moxley about her, and it was really strange because it was just odd. And then when I went back to the place and explained to the owner what I could see, and it was in the base room, that base room was different, and she said, well, it makes sense because that room was once the ballroom, so that's where all the parties and stuff went. And I was like, that's the woman I was seeing. But when she'd look at me, she'd smile at me. I can see her now, but it's just like it gives me the heebie-jeebies. When she looks at me, she smiles, but it's not a nice smile.
Yeah, but when you told Moxley about this, I correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not 100% sure, but didn't one of his little ones
we think he had stuff going on when we come back from there.
See a woman outside his work. Was this after that? And do you know what I mean? Didn't he explain?
There was stuff that both of us had stuff go on after that.
did.
Like,
Yeah.
and that's since then, that person I see in my house, the shadow, and I only see it when I'm on my own. It sounds crazy, me.
I do. I do.
Crazy at all. No, honestly,
this is more. I see it
definitely
more when
sound
I'm on
crazy.
my own. I've got my door shut there as well because it's always in my hallway. So
Do you
shut
think
the door.
that she's there to protect you, though? Do you think she's there just
I don't
curious?
know. I don't know. Because
Do
she
you
does
want to
scare.
take it further, or do you want to just try and
my
ignore her and hope she goes away?
Yeah,
think
it's
she'll just
weird.
go
I
away?
can't explain it. I can't explain it because I can see her every time I think about it. It's weird because I'll think about it and I can see her.
Yeah.
I can describe her, what she looks like, what she's wearing, her shoes that she's got on, how her hair is all it's black and it's finger waved like on a side parting over and finger waved, and it's
Do you
I
turn
can
the
see her.
spirit box on in your home at all?
I was just gonna say that.
No.
I'm scared to.
Yeah.
You
I
could
was just gonna
protect
say that.
yourself. You could do like a. I mean, I know it sounds dead witchy if you're not a witch, but you could do like a circle of protection with salt and things, and
Yeah.
make your intent.
Well, that's
and
what Max
this
has
is
said
the
then.
only place, the only time you're allowed to communicate. When I'll put
Yeah.
Roxy's comment up.
I had to. Yes. You did.
Wow. I had to say my house was getting a bit out of hand more when I wasn't home. That's
Yeah.
for the podcast. Wow. I mean, that's crazy. I thought that 30s Drive you would have said, because
I've
30s
not
Drive
been
would
there.
have face changed, Emma.
That plate, right? That, do you know why? So when that was happening, we was upstairs and we'd stopped filming, because we was on it's like it was a paid event through haunted houses. So we went with Ghost on Trent. They allowed us to have the house for the full day. Just it was me, Mox, and Ghost on Trent, three of them. So we had it for the full day, which was brilliant. It's very active in the daytime. Honestly, it was it was really good. So at the night time, I think it was about 9 o'clock, the lads from Haunted Houses who own that, they said that after the guests are coming, but if you want to stay on, you can. So they allowed us to stay on and join in their investigation.
Right.
So we stopped filming purely. Obviously, it's their investigation. Don't be filming and stuff. So they've got CCTV cameras set up around the house to monitor each room.
Right.
So we did the scrying. I've done it before, a long time ago. And as I'm sat at that mirror, looking at that mirror, I felt something touch my leg.
Right.
But my legs were underneath the the dressing table.
Uh-huh.
So nothing could have touched my leg. I felt pressure on my shoulder, and I also felt as the back of my head was too heavy. So my head felt like it was going back like that, which I can't explain. But the face in the mirror, I didn't see because we was in pitch black darkness.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know any of that. I just know the feelings that I had.
See, that's why I wanted to talk to you, especially. I wanted to know, what was that feeling like? I mean, obviously you've seen in the video when your face changed, but I wanted to ask you what you were feeling like at that time, so you could feel something there then.
Yeah, I felt, like I say, I could feel the pressure on my shoulder and my neck. I can't explain that feeling. It was as if the back here was loose, so my head was coming back. I can't explain it.
It's definitely changed, guys. You have to check out the video. You have to actually check out Shadowhunters UK anyway. Please subscribe. The link is at the top of the chat. I will put it in the description. But this video with the 30s Drive, it's been on a couple of the top 5s and things, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was on Nukes. It was on it's been on quite a few, and then Casper Site, he reviewed Nukes' video, which was that one. I was like, oh my god, we're on Casper Site.
Yeah, definitely, because your face, but Amy, your face pure changed.
I know, it was awful. I didn't know until the day after. I didn't know until the day after. The lady, she's called India, who works for Haunted Houses.
Right.
She messaged me, she went, I've got something to show you. So she said, I was reviewing all the CCTV footage, which they do with the guests in the morning. She said, I've got this video of you. She said, I cannot explain it. And when I watched it, I was like, oh my God, what is that? Because
see, I've got a theory about East Drive.
So much bigger.
and on you go. I've got a theory about East Drive. I think that East Drive, because it was getting investigated all the time, with the different energies that was going in and out there. I think there came a point after the American team lockdown, what you call them, with Nick Goff.
Oh, yes.
I think once he came, it changed. It's as if he actually brought something to America to the place.
See, the thing is, you never know, because people may have attachments. So, say, for example, you have an attachment, you're a paranormal investigator, and if you think how often East Drive is probably getting investigated near enough every single day, what if you have an attachment, you go to that place, and that attachment does leave you and it stays there? Will it stay there? It could pass on to someone. You don't know.
See, I think that's what happened there.
Yeah, you don't know what's been opened up in there neither.
Because I mean, so that's good to know that they go through the footage then. So if anybody had did rituals or anything in there, they would see it the next day. Then obviously,
yeah, they can see everything, absolutely everything on CCTV. So if you do something that you shouldn't be doing, then it's game over for you.
See, I would love to go there with a big removal truck, take everything out. Just don't. Obviously, the people that own the place would know what I was doing, but go there and just take everything out and act as if I was moving in to see how the spirits
what happened.
Yeah, like nobody knew. I think it would stir something really, really good.
Yes, definitely. I think it would.
See, I didn't know that they found a body there. I didn't know that until I was watching. I think it was your videos or somebody else's that they actually dug the floor up and that's where they found skeleton or something. I never knew that.
So what it was that so the story is hundreds and hundreds of years ago there was these monk. There's a monk, and he was like he was abusing these girls. Apparently, now I don't know how true this is. Obviously, stories get bigger and bigger, don't they? Yeah. Apparently, these girls, if you think back all them hundreds of years ago, not many children could read and write. So they put the tongues out so those girls couldn't speak. So they couldn't tell them what had happened to him. But this one particular girl, she could write and she wrote what he'd done. So they found this monk, they hung him. He killed the girls, threw them down a well or wherever. They hung this guy, this monk, and threw him in the same place.
Wow.
So all them years ago, obviously, around the area, there was coal mines and stuff, and then they built up the housing. So there was having a lot of water problems, and I think possibly subsidence. They had to dig up the floor, and they found the well. The well is basically in the center of the living room.
That's crazy. Well. I mean, I definitely think that place has got an energy of its own, because you see some investors go there and they get nothing. They maybe get a week or something, and then other people go and they get shadow figures. They get everything crazy, and I think that comes back to the energy we were talking about with good things, where people like us that go in with a good positive vibe and want something nice to happen. Places like that where there's evil, they want these people to come that want all the really bad stuff, and so when people like us go there, that's they do want to try and either affect us, ignore us, something like that,
Yeah, I agree. It comes in bursts in that place. It can go really quiet, because it happened to us when we were there, and then it just come in a burst, as if it gathers all its energy, and then poof, something happens, and then boom, stops.
Right.
And then you're waiting, and then so it's not constant.
Right.
It was really inconsistent, the activity that we had, because we was there from the morning till about 3 a.m. So we was there for a very long time. And
what do you feel there then? Do you feel it's the monk? Or
I don't know.
Kids or so? Do you think it's a mixture?
I don't know. There's definitely a young girl there. There's definitely a child there. But is it a child?
Well, that's it, isn't it?
Is it a child? Is it something that's coming and saying, I'll
so
come
he's been
forward?
to any haunted forest yet? I mean, East Drive, we'll go off that subject anyway, because I mean, it is a bit crazy up there. I mean, you can talk about East Drive all night, to be honest. That's your interview. So, is there any? Have you been to any haunted forest yet?
The only place we've not done loads of outdoor stuff.
Right.
The best, I'd say, the one near us, it's the ironworks.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah, we've got the old ironworks, and it's the old cotton mill as well. It's obviously a lot of it's been knocked down,
right?
But it's called Park Bridge,
right?
The area is massive, but we went into the woods. Do you remember we went into the woods, Lou?
Oh,
and we went with Rob.
Oh,
and we did I've not even done the video for that. This is a long time ago, and we need to go back here. We went in the woods, and these old ruins of cottages, because there used to be the workers' cottages up where the waterfront was. There's all the old ruins, and we was getting activity, weren't we? I was like,
oh yeah.
Wow. In the middle of the woods, there's no electricity, there's nothing, and
no.
Day-twos were going off, and we was getting
ramparts.
It was crazy. So
see, because I'm in a small Scottish town, I go into the woods quite a lot. With the Birkwood and things is right in the middle of the woods, so I can see the difference of energies. That's what I was going to ask. Is the difference of the energy to the house? Do you feel there's a big difference?
Yes, I think a lot of you have elemental side.
I honestly can hear the trees speak. I swear down
in the like elementals are from the elements, aren't they? They've never been off this earth. They're energies that are built up from the elements, and they're mischievous and stuff, and they will play with you. And I think you do get a bit of a lot of that in the woods and the forests and outdoors, and
definitely. I definitely feel. I think in the woods there's like a calming energy around here anyway. So that is why I'm intrigued to see if you had maybe been to like the witches' woods or anything, to see if you felt that different energy or no anywhere else. Because I've never felt that in the woods ever. I've never felt
scared in the woods. I enjoy the woods. You like going out walking, don't you, Lou? And I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, we have to go to the witches' woods together then, ladies, and you'll experience.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing.
Definitely. Because I want to experience it. I'm coming down to England probably June or July, so definitely need to link up for sure.
And the weather for it as well, because
and come up to Scotland, and I will take you to some castles, ladies, and we'll have a tour.
That's what we need to do.
Yeah, for sure. So, guys, let's open up the questions for the ladies. Has anybody in chat got any questions they would like to ask before we end the show in 15 minutes? Anybody like to ask any questions to the beautiful girls? Oh, if not, we'll keep chatting. We'll just keep chatting to the think. It's down. Let's see who's that. Moxley. Let's see what Moxley's saying. It's down to how open you are. My understanding is, if something is there and trusts you, it will communicate with you.
Definitely, 100%.
I definitely feel that is. I think that's why there's certain people as successful we get communication in them. No, I definitely feel if you make that connection to the spirits of the area, then you can only ever help them or do whatever. I mean, my intention when I go out to investigations is to talk to the spirits, see if I can help them, see if there's something that maybe keeps them stuck here, with just talking to them simply would maybe release that. Is that why you do it? Just to talk to the spirits?
Yeah, I want to know.
I find it really comforting.
Conversation with him. I'd love to have a conversation. I really would.
So would I.
It's amazing. It's just fascinating.
I love walking into places and feeling the emotions.
Moxley, we'll need to do all these questions for our interview, for sure. Wow.
Who's your favourite male investigator?
I know, I do put that.
Well, that could be a question. So who would you love to work with, ladies? Is there anybody out there you would like to work with? Famous.
Do you know what? I don't know really, because we're the type of people where we're just normal.
We're open to everybody, aren't we? Really,
I love my favourites though. We've got our little team and our little group. They're my favourite people ever, 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 ever. But we're open to work with anybody who's like-minded.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I'm a stickler. If I don't like you, then I can't deal with the bad vibe. It does me.
I think you've genuinely got to trust the people you're out with.
Yes.
Because you turn your back too many times, and it's so easy for somebody just to maybe throw a pebble or do a wee. So you've got to trust your teammates. It really is. If you want to take this serious, you've got to take it serious, because you know, the spirits is the most important. You know.
Yeah. And that's what we're there to do, aren't we? You know, that's what we are there to do. We're there to prove it.
Who's your favourite male investigator? Moxley, it's got to be me, mate.
Moxley Paranormal. It's even out in the podcast, Moxley.
He is.
Honestly, do you know how we got working with Mox? Because I used to watch Moxley on YouTube.
Right.
And I thought, you know, when we first started out, I'm just going to ask him. So we did.
Right.
I mean, come on out with us if you want, and that's it. Honestly, he's a top guy. He's really helped us out massively.
Well, I thought when I approached you, I thought I've only got 870 subscribers, and I thought they're probably not going to want to talk to me. And then you
no way. We love
finders. That always amazes me.
We love
normal people.
Yeah. We literally are like our unity. Like we're so.
That's a question for you, Spirals. For Louise and Amy, is there any piece of equipment you'd most like to try out that you haven't tried yet?
I want a Melrem. I want a Melrem. Definitely want one of those. Yes. I really want a Melrem.
Gadgets though. Every time you see a different investigator, they've got a different gadget. Oh my God, I'm saving up for the S box. Now I'm saving up for this.
I'll tell you what I would really love. You can I can't think what it's called. It looks like a little satellite dish, basically. And you can plug it into your headphones and you can actually hear more stuff. You can hear
a little sonic ear.
Yes. I love that.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
My son has one of those things that you hold and you can hear things around you. So
that's what I would love, because I'm quite good at hearing things anyway. I'd love that.
Definitely. I never thought of that before.
We've thought about making our own stuff, haven't we?
Yeah.
Sorry, Louise.
Yeah, we have. We thought, like you say, Lou, we thought about making our own stuff. Like, you know, when you have ideas, we could try that in.
Because obviously,
I think my uncle more equipment. Sorry, Louisa.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, Amy's partner, my uncle, is like an electrician, and then my brother's dead good at IT. So we can do and we thought about making some interesting stuff to try, haven't we? Like,
I think you should. I think you should make it really girly for all us ladies investigators. Make it really girly, a big pair of lips or something as a speaker. What's Moxley saying again, girls? He's saying, Amy, you can use mine once I've got it.
He's getting a Melrem. Yes.
Well, that's
Thank you, Maxenberg.
What's yours is mine.
Guys, you are great and love working with you, and I'm always open to work with anyone. Well said, Moxley. Well said.
He's a star. He is. He's lovely. And I think people, like you said then, like, I didn't think you'd come and speak to us. Never could. Honestly, we couldn't be like that because we're just normal.
Yeah.
Mox is the same.
A lot of these teams, they get a little bit, maybe they get like 3,000 subscribers, 4,000, then it all starts going to their head and they forget.
Some people are in it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Not any names. I'm not for anyone.
No, neither am I. I wouldn't do that. But that's what I'm saying. There's so many of them out there just to get the fame, just to get their name out there, and they forget it's about the spirits.
It's the reason why they're there.
People at Ghost Adventures and things, they're not happy anymore unless the demon name's mentioned. You know, nothing, and it's really crazy because if you take it serious, you know when you go to these locations, you're going to run into people that's like you. You know what I mean? Why would a human be in Les Mexico?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
So you've got to have that in mind that these people are probably just like you, maybe just 100 or 2 years older. You know?
Yeah.
That's how I look at them, are twisted souls. Because let's face it, there's that many twisted people that when they die, they're not going to change.
It's true. That's why I think the negative energy is people that have done bad, and that's that energy. When people say it's a demon, it's not necessarily a demon. It's the energy.
It's the negative,
the bad energy, which is from the person who's done bad. It's like
because it's like
collection of energies.
If you walk into a room full of people, you can pick up vibes off people, and like they do with you as well. Like it's literally like the same.
But stay humble, no matter. Very true.
Yeah, stay humble, no matter how many subs you have. That is definitely a good way to end the show. Our motto. Well, girls, it is 10:25, and I have been really enjoyed this interview. I wish I could go on longer and longer.
No, bless you.
And I hope,
thanks for inviting me in.
I honestly hope that you come to Scotland and that we can also meet up when I come to England, because I think it would be amazing. Honestly,
100%. Yeah, definitely let us know when you're coming down.
I will do.
And Scotland is definitely on the cards. You need to go to Scotland. It's a fascinating place.
Stay there, ladies. I will talk to you after I end this show, okay? If that's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
For 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, everybody. I'm going to end the show here. We have been into near enough an hour and a half. Remember, always check out Golden Bonkers Network. You will get them on Google. Also, check out Parapost. You will find their app on the Google playlist, and it is free, guys. It's an amazing app for all of us that love supernatural, paranormal, anything UFO that we didn't even get a chance to talk about. So please come back, ladies, and we'll talk again, and we'll talk everything on supernatural. Okay, guys, as always, blessings, and I'll let you say goodbye, girls.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.